Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Today on this very program, I identify the next Brandon Powell.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings, and I'm once again excited to ruin Sam's plan for this show.
Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Hey, Sam wants me to watch his dog this weekend. Should I do it? Comment below.
Hey, this is Arif Hassan with the Wide Lev Substack. I'm excited to ruin Luke's Braun plan to ruin Sam's show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party.
What is up, everybody? On a Thursday morning, it's the Minnesota Football Party on Locked On Sports Minnesota. We are streaming on YouTube, Locked On Sports Minnesota channel. Please subscribe. We're available on the 24/7 YouTube live stream. You want to check that out as well for all the talk about your favorite teams around the clock. You can also hear us on the Locked On Vikings audio feed. Luke Braun hosting Locked On Vikings over there and lets us, we pay rent, of course, and he slides us in to his feed. You can hear the football party via audio, Locked On Vikings. Amazon Fire, Roku, Sirius XM app, lots of ways to watch and listen to this program where we talk Vikings every Monday, every Thursday. You met the crew, the two Lukes, Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. No shortage of topics for today, but we're going to revisit our preseason Minnesota Vikings predictions and give the final grades as to how we fared when we back in September predicted how the season would go. We did a mid-season check-in. Now we'll do the postseason check-in and see who won those 10 different categories. We're continuing our QB target and free agent target series. Today, it's Bo Nix at quarterback and wide receiver free agent targets. Ron Johnson also joins. We'll find out if he tried out for the Minnesota Myth Arena Football League team, as we prodded him to do last week. Also, championship weekend bets coming up late in the show. But guys, do you remember your predictions way back in September when you were naive, innocent? Luke Inman, do you remember those good old days before the 7-10, before the Cousins injury, before the Jefferson injury, all the optimism?
Yeah, I remember the Madison hurdles over under 0.5. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but Arif and Luke and Luke, before we grade these officially and set them in stone.
All I remember is that at the midseason juncture when we evaluated these, I won. So that's all I know.
We've got a couple here, the Cousins projection and the Jefferson projection. Do we grade them on their 17-game pace, or do we grade them as
so,
it?
Right?
I
think can we at least talk about it if we're not gonna?
We'll talk about it. Yep.
I think for scoring purposes, we shouldn't, right? Because it's much more cursed that way, and that fits the Vikings.
That's fair.
But we should
let's do it worse on purpose. I agree.
Yeah, but we should talk about the 17-game pace. And if I end up winning because of the 17, I will go back.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Revisionist.
Yeah. Well,
perfect.
Easily. Yeah.
All right. Well, the first category, Justin Jefferson, receptions, yardage, touchdowns. Should we make that 3 points or just one size fits all, like whoever was closest?
A point each.
A point each. Okay. Receptions. Actual 68, which goes to me. I'll spoil it. Well, actually, no, I won't spoil it because one of mine is wrong. So that goes to me. Total yardage, 1,074. That goes to me. I was lowest. I had 1,666. Touchdowns.
Well, we
5.
all had over 1,666. That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, yeah.
The
definitely.
stupidest thing is that we were right that he was going to be on a record-setting pace.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we do this again next year, I'm predicting 2,000 yards again. I will learn nothing.
Yeah, right. Why
you're going?
you?
Yeah, you're going 2,000. I'm going 2001. Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Whoever goes last is getting the biggest number.
Right.
Luke Braun, you get a point for touchdowns. You projected 9, and the actual was 5. So 2 points for Sammy, 1 point for Braun. Now the pace, not for points, the pace was 18-26, 116 receptions, and 9 touchdowns. So Braun, you would have had the touchdowns exactly right. Inman, you would have had the receptions exactly right. And Braun, you would have been closest in yards. You had 1754 in yards.
What did I have in yards? 19?
Arif had 1,949.
Interesting number for Arif.
Interesting. Yeah. Such an Arif number. All right.
2-1 extra lead.
50. Not on my watch.
Stat correction. Wednesday, week 18.
4 available points on this one. Kirk Cousins, yardage, touchdowns, interceptions, and fourth quarter comebacks.
Jesus.
Oh, boy.
So who went low? The answer? Luke Braun. Luke Braun was the most pessimistic among us.
Gotta respect the hater parade.
Must have been in a really bad mood that day.
Yeah,
I think you were. I think you were. Yep.
There will actually be a third of a point awarded to Braun, Arif, and myself because we all tied with 9 interceptions. So a third of a point. Luke Inman, you had him up around 5,000 yards. You had the highest projections. And fourth quarter comebacks ended up at 0. So again, Luke Braun, you guessed 2 fourth quarter comebacks, and it was no, I win. I win that one. I had 1.
Yeah, that sounds fishy.
So 3.
No, I only had 1.
Check the tape.
We need
why is that episode deleted and not on the playlist anymore? So weird.
3 1/3. And
so he ended with 0 fourth quarter comebacks and 0 game-winning drives, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Truly astounding. This is not what regression is supposed to look like.
Right. And Dobbs had 1 of each. That's where we're at.
Nick Mullins had a game-winning drive.
2023 Vikings.
Well, we know Nick Mullins didn't have any fourth quarter comeback. Or wait, no, yeah, that because I was tied.
That counts as a game-winning drive, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god,
game-winning drive,
that's
baby.
incredible.
Wait, does it? It was like the third to last drive.
Yeah.
I think
fourth, but game-winning. What constitutes a game-winning drive?
Go ahead, drive in the fourth quarter. Is that the definition?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's yeah.
Sack leader, and with how many? We have an exact guess that is correct.
Oh wow.
Arif Hassan, Daniil Hunter, 16 and 8.
Wow, nice, dude. That's
just
fun.
like the Price is Right, in my pocket, I've got $500 to give you. No,
yeah,
exact.
Okay.
I think that's let's make a deal. But whatever. Channel 4, CBS, daytime, same thing.
Record in one-score games, giving a point for correct wins and closest losses. The correct answer, 6 and 8. Luke Inman, you get a point for wins. You went 6 and 5. And Inman, you split a point with Luke Braun. You each had them losing 5 one-score games.
I remember this one. We went off on a tangent for about 6 minutes because of reset. There's no way they're going to have that many close games again. There's just no way.
11 close games?
Yeah,
That's
what was
crazy.
a guess? What was a guess?
14.
3 and 3.
And even that, you were just kind of gritting your teeth a little bit, like,
yeah,
they're gonna have 6.
Like, because I cut their close games in half. I was like, surely
it's
got to be enough, right?
This can't just keep happening,
right?
Yeah,
that's great.
Alexander Madison hurdles. I believe 1 ended up being the correct answer.
1. I think let's not go back and check and just agree on 1 as the answer.
All right. That means Luke Braun wins. Are you sure you want to
Let's
agree
go back
on that,
and
Arif?
check.
Let's go actually go back. Throw that flag.
Challenge.
Have you seen that commercial, by the way, the challenge commercial, where like it's a couple arguing and they go,
like
challenge it?
Yeah, it's like
one of the best
everywhere, man.
It's one of the best.
It's
man.
okay.
It's so great.
It's fine.
It's solid.
Interception leader, and with how many? So this one, I thought the how many would serve as a tiebreaker if two people had the same, but the only person who guessed Byron Murphy was Arif.
Nice.
And the correct answer was actually 3. Arif said 6, but I think Arif gets 1 point for the correct person.
I shocked myself. I feel
know,
like
I
I'm
went
the kind of
Harry.
person that would have picked Harry. Maybe
Yeah.
I didn't pick Harry because other people picked
I
Harry.
think so. Yeah. I definitely went Harry. Braun, I think you went Harry. Sam. Oh,
I went Bynum. Braun and Inman went Harrison Smith.
Got it. Okay.
This one I remember at the midway point. This was true, and it remained true. The longest play from scrimmage. The correct answer: Jordan Addison, 62-yard TD versus Philly, Week 2. Luke Braun said 66-yard deep post to Jordan Addison.
Wow, that's right.
Dude,
Wow.
Nice. Nice, dude.
Crushed
He
it.
said that's his favorite
Nice.
route. I was just listening.
Was that
And-
the Sam? Was that
I don't
the
listen to
Philly or San Fran
players.
one?
Philly.
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 So week
And
2,
I did specify in the rules bonus to get the correct player. And he did
Nice.
indeed get the correct player.
Wow.
So 2 points.
I think I went Ty Chandler on like a swing route for like 72 yards, 78 yards.
Did someone
Correct
say there
me.
would be a 99-yard something?
96 for
Sam?
Chandler. That was me.
That was
bold in many respects.
Yeah, good memory from Inman. He did say 72-yard swing pass to Ty Chandler.
Wait, what did I say?
You said 76 yards Jefferson. Not a bad guess.
All right,
That's
yeah,
a chalk guess. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not
Odds-on
upset
favorite.
at having gotten that particular one wrong.
Luke Braun running away with it. Special teams defensive touchdowns. Correct answer was 2. Jordan Hicks and DJ Wanham, both with scoop and scores.
That's
the winner.
nuts.
Luke Braun, you said 7. Man, that's a lot.
Also nuts.
What? I did.
Um,
oh no, I thought it was defensive and special teams touchdowns.
it
I was about
was.
to say that's a lot of faith in Najee Thompson.
No, it is, dude. It is. Right. I don't know. It is. But 7.
but 2.
No. You must have just been on one that day, but you know what? You're winning. You're crushing. So
Yeah.
Hey,
whatever you
got
did,
Brian
it worked.
Flores, you got
I
Najee
should-
Thompson, you got Brandon Powell.
That's
How
the
could
thing.
you go
Maybe
wrong?
the key is like not overthinking it and just like, I don't know. The NFL
Yeah,
is
maybe I
weird.
should
The
just
Vikings
get
are even
really
weirder.
grouchy every time we do a gambling segment. I won't get last place this time.
I can arrange
Inman
it.
wins.
I can-
Inman wins that one. He said 3. He said 3, all on defense, by the way. And he was correct about that. They were both on defense.
So
So
how many
point-
bonus points is that?
So Sam, what did you and I pick?
I picked 4. I said 1 kick return, 2 fumble recovery returns, which was correct, and 1 pick 6.
Yeah, that's
Arif,
fair.
you said 5.
What an idiot.
Pretty optimistic. Update
So
on the
aggressive,
scores
dude.
with 2 to go. Luke Braun is running away. He's got
Quick update.
6 and approximately 3/4.
Okay.
3 1/3 for me. Arif 2 1/3. Inman 2 1/2. We got
Need this
2
one.
to go. So Braun's pretty much wrapped it. Leading
Unbelievable.
rusher and what yardage total?
Madison, I think I had over.
I feel like I was
just
a
over 1,000.
Madison 700-yard guy, maybe. Feels like what I would say.
You wish you were a Madison 700-yard guy because that's exactly the answer. Madison
Oh my god,
700.
incredible!
Exactly
Um,
700 even?
Exactly
That's skill.
700.
Exactly 700, and Luke Braun wins. Luke Braun, Madison 739. He was dialed in.
Wow,
in his
What did
crystal
I pick?
ball.
My God, I was feeling it.
Arif, you said 888, Madison.
That's an alarming number for me to choose, but
I
okay.
was gonna say.
Well, better than 666. Inman, you said 1,076 yards. You were the most
Well, that was like
optimistic.
65 yards a game or something. We calculated out or something like that. I was like, that's fine. That's really
Yeah,
Right.
it seemed modest. It seemed modest, kind of conservative. Nope,
That's a shame.
would have killed for that. Last one. Offensive or defensive snaps combined for the rookie class. No special.
Oh god,
Oh, this is this
Oh,
is
this
tough.
one was fun.
This was tough
Yeah.
and a good one though.
yeah, we had to, and we were like, hey, we got to give these UDFA's a little bit of.
Right.
Like, Ivan Pace surely will have a rotational role.
Right.
So the rookies played more than we thought.
Oh,
Get out
really?
your calculators.
All of us were
Addison,
wrong. Perfect.
921. Jaron Hall, 46.
21.
Lucky Jackson had 3 snaps. Is he considered a rookie? He's a rookie.
I
right?
don't think so.
Has he ever played in the NFL?
Not the NFL. He was in.
Oh, he's XFL. We'll count it.
Okay, wait.
It's 3 snaps. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we'll count.
Ivan Pace, 706. Mekhi Blackman, 435. Jaquelin Roy, 96. Andre Carter, 68. Jay Ward, 35. Jalen Williams, 24. And somewhere along the line, I don't know when, don't know where, Najee Thompson played a snap. For a grand total of 2,335 snaps. Luke Braun wins that one too. 2,144 was.
He's a freak. You're a freak.
I didn't get that one. I didn't get that one right in process.
What were the other 3 guesses? Were we close? Was anything close? Was
Arif was 2001. I said 1760, and Inman said 1705.
Get Roy in my office right now.
So wait, hold on. So Andre Carter had more snaps than Jay Ward? That doesn't match my memory at all. That's incredible. When did Andre Carter get on the field?
That's crazy.
So where did we underestimate? Did we think Addison was going to be more banged up? Did we not know Pace? Like, was Pace the biggest difference there? Because I thought we assumed.
I remember thinking. I remember putting down like
Addison
300 for Pace. Like, I thought he would kind of like get in here and there, but not like become a full-time starter.
Remember going in Asamoah, I mean, everybody assumed like, okay, he's still going to be a big part of the puzzle here too. And that obviously wasn't the case. So that was a huge one. And then, Marcus Davenport gets hurt. So Roy gets a little bit more. Wanham gets hurt, towards the end of the year. But nonetheless, Andre Carter played a little bit more than I thought he would. But yeah, Addison, over 900. I would love to see the NFL rookie snaps and see where that ranks compared to, other first rounders or guys in the class, because that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
there's a tool. There's a tool for that. It's called Pro Football Focus.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to your query is, as it loads,
who's the most in the NFL, and then who's the most on offense? Or skilled player.
And now does it not give me snap counts? Oh, it doesn't give snap counts on like the ordered filtered.
Oh man, Arif, Luke.
You can probably find that in Pro Football Reference. I don't know. It's a lot of work at the moment.
Man,
I mean, it's not a lot of work.
It's not that much work.
Yeah, it's actually fairly simple, but
Yeah. Well, anyways, I would love to see that. So,
in terms of games played.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. Let me take off the postseason filter. Because he played all 17 games, which I think is the biggest win.
I think absolutely, man.
Yeah.
That was such a low-key talker during. God, this guy's like not that big. Dude. Might just take one hit. He could get banged up, miss 2-3 games here or there a couple times this season.
I think we all expected a bigger role for KJ Osborne too. Like we were all like, "Hey,
that's true.
Figure this out."
For sure.
Take Puka out of the equation, and Addison ties the rookie league in targets, and he was one of 9 to play all 17 games amongst rookies.
Wow! All rookies, not just receivers.
All rookie receivers.
Oh, all rookie receivers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some like O-line that got in.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was the guy he was tied with? Like Zay Flowers or something?
Tied with Zay. Yep.
Got it.
Exactly right.
Got it. Wow.
Rasheed Rice close behind. Josh Downs, Jaden Reed, Smith and Jigba.
So are we buying Puka Nacua in our dynasty leagues, or are you worried once Stafford goes down, the whole offense is shot?
No, he's just good.
He's just good. Okay.
He's pretty legit. We're going to talk to another legit receiver, Ron Johnson, coming up shortly. Quick pause here on the Minnesota Football Party. Today's show brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and plenty more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. Over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. As we await the arrival of Ron Johnson, we thank our everydayers for tuning in here on Locked On Sports Minnesota to the Ron Johnson Show on Tuesdays, Minnesota Basketball Party on Wednesdays, us on the Football Party Mondays and Thursdays, with the Roundtable coming up on Friday with Reggie Wilson and Julia Daniels. Ron Johnson joining us now. He hosts the Ron Johnson Show, and he chatted with Spice Adams this week, talking about the Detroit-San Francisco game. We'll probably get into that here as this conversation goes along. But Ron, but before we start, did you or did you not try out for the arena football team?
I did not. I was waiting to see. I was waiting to see pictures of a reef out there, though. But I did not. I got up that morning.
I tried out without anyone seeing any pictures of me.
My knee just didn't. It wasn't. Nah, it just wasn't gonna do.
Can't force it. You
don't have my right knee. So like my left knee is fine. So I probably could have run out routes, but only if I'm on the right side. If you line me up on the left side, I can only run curl. So like it would be too hard to figure out.
It's like when Julio was playing with a broken foot, and Bill Belichick figured that he couldn't
he couldn't push off to the right foot.
Yeah.
You just gotta switch it up. But yeah, no, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
How was the slow-mo game at the gym, though? That's my second question. How did the channeling slow-mo go?
It went okay until I realized I can't shoot like him. His shooting form is terrible. So I had to switch it back to, I had to go back to like my D-Wade kind of just mid-range game. Still moving slow though, like D-Wade at age 40. That's what I played like, but moving slow, got the jumper off. But slow-mo, like the more I watch him shoot, the more I hate him. Like every time I see him go for a jumper, I'm like, I hate that. Like stop that right now. Pass the ball. Like I just hate it. It looks so slow and terrible. And the form is just,
When he's not on your team, he's not a very likable player because you're like, how is he doing anything in this game?
It's like Giannis's brother. I don't know if you ever watched Giannis's brother play. Like he is Thanasis is terrible.
Thanasis.
Like, did you hear the rumor that one of the, and I'm guessing it's a joke because I didn't look at the official tweet who tweeted it, but they said one of the reasons was that the coach Adrian or whatever told Thanasis that he was committing healthcare fraud because he was on the team still in healthcare.
That's amazing. That's hilarious.
So I was like,
wow. Giannis
was like, you gotta go.
Bad.
Yeah.
My favorite Thanasis tweet was drafting Talia Tagovailoa is like grabbing Thanasis Antetokounmpo, except both Tua and Talia are Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Thanasis, poor Thanasis.
Poor Thanasis. Well, I feel like we're getting that with Bojan Bogdanovic too. Stuck on the Pistons, hard to tell. But
yeah. There's I got a list here, Ron, of some free agent wide receivers.
Yeah.
As the Vikings look to replace potentially KJ Osborne and Brandon Powell.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin. Oh no, he's not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on board.
Yeah. Tell me if any of these names stand out to you. Curtis Samuel, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Boyd, Josh Reynolds. Those are the four that I wrote down. What do you think of those names?
I like Josh Reynolds. I do. I think he brings a knack from Detroit that's tough, hard-nosed. When you watch him play, he runs really good crisp routes. He always was that additional receiver for the Lions. Tyler Boyd, I feel like he was hurt or something. I can't remember what, but at one point he was one of the top guys with the Bengals, and then I feel like he fell off a little bit. I don't know if it's that or maybe T. Higgins and Jamar Chase ascended as a duo, and Tyler Boyd kind of got left behind at some point. And but yeah, no, I do like Josh Reynolds in that. I know what was the other one?
Curtis Samuels, and then Curtis Samuel, and then Darnell Mooney, who had a really good stretch with the Bears.
Yeah, he did. Darnell Mooney was pretty good with the Bears, but I don't think he fits this offense. I'd say the Curtis Samuel bit, I don't know if they're looking for a Swiss Army knife type guy. I would say for a true receiver to fit Josh Reynolds, who can also, if he has to go back there and fair catch some punts, he can do that as well. So I did like Josh Reynolds out of that four.
Yeah.
Ron, I've been getting really into the Wolves this year. Do the Wolves postcast after every game. I know you're the big B-ball guy. I'm curious if I were to give you some player superlatives, what your answers would be. So, for example, if I said who the Anthony Edwards is of the Vikings, I think we'd all say Justin Jefferson. I'm going to give you two other ones, though. Who's the Mike Conley and who's the Naz Reid of the Minnesota Vikings roster? Who do you think?
Oh, the Mike Conley is easily Kirk Cousins. I mean, old veteran, smart, gonna make the right pass, gonna, be the guy that you can always count on. The Nas Reed, I don't know if he'll be there, but I would have said Danielle Hunter because he's big, strong, imposing, and he like really puts his stamp on games when he's in there. He's quiet at times, but then when he flashes, it's loud. So that's what I'll go with for now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with Danielle Hunter or Kirk Cousins, but I would say that's the Mike Conley and the Nas Reed of the Vikings.
I like it.
I have some breaking news for you, Ron. If Sam wants to get the sound going, the Panthers are finalizing a deal.
Oh, Harbaugh's going to the Vikings? Oh, no. Okay.
To make Dave Canales their head coach. What are your thoughts?
Hey,
the Panthers? Oh, the Panthers.
The Panthers are hiring him off the Bucks. Yeah.
So again, when you think about organizations, I'm glad we're not recycling, I guess, because that's what a lot of people thought was going to happen. They were going to recycle a lot of fired coaches or previously fired coaches. When you think about organizations, I mean, the Bucks made the playoffs. The one that I did not like was what's his name, Gannon from the Eagles. Like, that to me felt weird. Never felt like a right fit.
The only guy that would say yes.
To who, Gannon?
Yeah, to the Cardinals.
Maybe. It just didn't fit for me. As far as like some of these coaches, again, like I wait to their first social media. Like, let me see their social media video. Like, I just saw Rand and Callahan with the Titans. He seems pretty like low key down to earth to me. Like, he seems like a coach is going to come in there and maybe get what they're looking for. So same thing. I think the jury's going to be out until we see. The Panthers is going to be the draft though. Like, Bryce Young, I guess they're going to have to go with him, or do they do something crazy and try to draft or trade or, use, if there's a late round guy there at some point they can find, maybe they try to find a better replacement for Bryce Young, and Bryce Young becomes a fairy tale of, man, this guy could have been good, but he was only 5'10". Like, you just don't know what's going to happen with that. Cause I mean, we can go way back to the Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf days. Like, drafting high doesn't always mean they're going to work out. And I think we want it to happen so bad, and maybe Bryce Young isn't it.
Are you surprised nobody's waiting for a shot at Ben Johnson? He was the hot name coming into this year, just talking about head coaching jobs and vacancies, things like that. Ben Johnson, you still think he'll land somewhere as a head coach next year?
Well, the jobs are filling up fast. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is like, if you possibly might win a Super Bowl, do you just wait it out a year? Because again, this is going to happen every year. Every year, teams are not going to be happy with their organization. Mike Tomlin still hasn't signed his contract with the Steelers, so that's still a possibility of not moving on, but maybe finding a front office position for him. The New England Patriots, I mean, I don't think they've hired a coach yet, so I could see Ben Johnson maybe going there because, again, that New England, Dan Campbell, bite the kneecaps, maybe that's what New England's looking for. I don't know if they feel like they have their quarterback, so maybe Ben Johnson comes in, or they have their quarterback and Ben Johnson comes in with a new revolutionized type of offense that can help them out because they're like, look, you guys got Jared Goff to a Super Bowl. Can you do this with our quarterback? And so, again, and that's why I think Herbert and Harbaugh were a match made in heaven. You got a former quarterback, a former NFL quarterback that, took what's his name, Kaepernick to the Super Bowl. He took J.J. McCarthy to a national championship. So I think that's what coaches are looking for too now. It's like, are we a defensive-minded team, or do I need a coach that's going to hug and kiss and hand-hold my quarterback? That's why I think, the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell, the same thing. Like, can you come in and make our quarterback better? And he did it.
What do you think these the conference championship teams tell us about like team building in general, like the way, or should we take lessons from like just one successful year for some of these teams? Like, what do we get from watching these particular teams play?
Yeah, so there's no formula that is completely foolproof. Like, everybody's trying to find the magic bean to get to a Super Bowl. And I'm kind of now looking at these teams. I don't know if there is one. I mean, I do know, like, because one team or two teams have a high paid quarterback. So you can't go say like, oh, we can't have a high paid quarterback because we can't make a Super Bowl. They're doing it. You got but you got Brock Purdy on his rookie deal. You got to have a rookie quarterback. Who knows if he's going to get there? You got Jared Goff, who's not as high paid, but he was traded and they got rid of their high paid quarterback to bring in just a quarterback to get it going. And then they drafted a crap ton of guys around him. But people aren't giving the Lions GM enough credit because he hit some home runs with his first round picks and second round picks this year. When you think about Laporta, you think about Gibbs and everybody, running backs can't go in the first round. Gibbs had a better year, in my opinion, than what's his name? Bijan Mustard. When you think about that, like but that was his whole deal this year. He's supposed to have his own mustard. I think he did have his own mustard. I think he did end up doing like an NIL mustard deal or something with I think it was Dijon or some other mustard company, but it was Bijan Mustard. But when you think about or Bijan sauce or something, I can't remember what it was. But when you think about that, like there's no so my opinion on the formula, I think you need to have a coach who's not just a player's coach, but is willing to put his foot down. I think you have to have the coach that's willing to build a culture. Like the Ravens culture is hardball. Who has it better than us? Nobody. Who's going to be for us? We are. Who's going to embody this city, the city of Baltimore? You look at Kansas City. It's all about Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes right now. Like it's who's gonna help our quarterback win these games. Can our defense be good? I don't need a ton of weapons on offense because Patrick Mahomes is gonna make you guys look great, but I got to have some pass rushers. And then you go over to the Lions. We know what that culture is. Dan Campbell breathes it. He lives his blue collar. It's Detroit. He absorbed it, and now it's osmosis. Everybody is feeling it. Everybody's putting on blue ski masks. So I think at the end of the day, like the formula has to be something that like you have to literally go in with your whole staff, be on the same page and say, what do we do better than other teams? And how can we hammer that home? And then you got to get lucky. I mean, you got to stay healthy and get lucky down the stretch. So I mean, long answer, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this, to be honest. Like I just think we put too much into it sometimes. At the end of the day, though, the salary cap is a big part of it. And then can you find other guys that are cheaper but will give you similar, not the same, but similar production? When you think about like getting rid of Tyreek Hill, they said, look, let's try to find what we can find. But what did they do? They forced more balls to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce became the guy. Like it used to be Tyreek and Travis. It was like, Travis, we're going to put a lot more on your plate. Can you handle it? And he's like, man, I'm handling Taylor Swift. I can handle anything else you guys got. So I think that's the key for this is like, if the Vikings, let's take the Vikings, for instance. Do you need the Danielle Hunter? Probably not. Can you find a 3-4 linebacker that will give you what he gives you? Possibly, but it's going to have to come from multiple guys. Like you're going to have to find one guy and then another guy to kind of be his backup to be able to rotate and get in and actually get after the quarterback, but still play that. I mean, watch the Ravens this weekend. That's what I'm waiting for. The Ravens defense flies around, and Roquan Smith's a big part of it. The Bears got rid of him, but they fly around the field and they are like, they want to bite gunpowder and spit in your face. Like that's what I like about the Ravens. Like they're spitting bullets at people when you watch how they tackle, how they talk trash. And that's like, and then maybe that's a little bit of Ray Lewis, because I know Ray Lewis and Roquan hooked up this offseason and hung out and watched film together. But that's like the Vikings have to find their thing. And if their thing is Kirk Cousins and they're going to treat him like Patrick Mahomes, you got to get them weapons. And then defensively, you got to say, hey, look, just don't let a team score 30 on us and we'll win these games. So I think that's kind of
speaking about like team culture and team fit. I mean, you heard the quote that John Harbaugh had about Roquan, right? He was always a Raven. He just didn't know it yet.
I can see that. I mean, yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's. And I will say, like being in Baltimore, like our offense, our team was our defense. It's always been that for the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson he's a blip in the radar of something different. Of like, man, like Neo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys remember that from what was that movie called? Matrix. Remember that, like the one blinking dot? And that was Neo.
Oh,
like,
right.
Yeah, remember? Yeah. In the Matrix, they were like, it was everything in the Matrix was flowing, but then there was that one dot. And they were like, what the heck is that? And then, of course, the dude with the glasses and all his people start showing up, trying to figure out. And then, Morpheus shows up, take the red or the blue pill. And then the sexy chick in the black shows up. And then, but Neo was always the one. He just was a blip. I think that's the same thing with Lamar. Like the Ravens are going to flow. They're going to be defense, blue collar city. Roquan definitely fits it. But Lamar's that like Neo the one. Like it's like, man, there's something different about this. We got to go figure out what that is. And that's why I think Lamar Jackson's like no other quarterback, not only in the NFL, but the Ravens for sure have never seen. And this is why they're possibly going to win his first Super Bowl. Because even going against the Lions, we saw what he was able to do. And it's now you have a better idea of what it could be the 49ers, but you have a better idea even of what the Lions can do to you. And so I think for Lamar Jackson now it's, he has to stay healthy because we know he likes to run. He doesn't slide. So, don't let. I saw the former Packers guy say like, "Oh, I'm taking a cheap shot at Purdy," or "I would do this," or "I would."
Oh yeah.
Shimura or whatever, or I can't remember who it was, but was it Mark Shimura? Was that who it was?
What a name drop!
It was, but it was definitely like,
I think it was Mark Shimura.
Was it? Okay,
I think so. The old tight end for the Packers. I think it was Mark Shimura.
Yeah.
But hopefully nobody goes into the game thinking that like, let's take Lamar out. So, but yeah, other than that, same thing with him. He has to stay healthy. Can't take cheap shots.
One more quick one for Ron before he heads out. Senior Bowl week. There's 2 Gophers going down there. Brevin Spanford, Tyler Nubin. Huge opportunity for them.
There you go.
That's hilarious. Great name drop. I'm just curious though, Ron, with these all-star weeks, how tough, as a former player, how tough do you think it is to go into those all-star weeks? Again, huge opportunity, can boost your draft stock, but like you don't know anybody around you, and each position's a little bit different, but you don't know the plays, you don't know the verbiage or anything. And it's like, if I'm a receiver and I'm here to make myself look good in front of all these scouts and coaches, things like that, how tough is that to work with like a quarterback you've never caught a pass from, let alone trying to get on the same page with timing and chemistry and all that stuff?
It's like any sport where you play pickup. It's easy. If you're an athlete and you have a good personality and you're able to hang out, it's easy. Like I remember hooking up and hanging out with Josh McCown. I remember like Terry Jones, tight end for Alabama. Me and Rohan Davey, Kelly Campbell, Jamar.
Kelly Campbell.
Yeah, wow. Kelly Campbell. Kelly Campbell was in. And the only reason I remember Kelly Campbell is because him and Rohan got into it over a touchdown. Like Rohan threw a touchdown to Kelly Campbell, and Kelly gave the ball to his mom, and Rohan was like arguing, like, "That's my ball, man. Give my ball back." It's like, and they was arguing over it. And like, it was so funny. They argued at the combine. Like we got to the combine in the middle of the Wonderlic test. We're taking the Wonderlic test, and Rohan looks back at Kelly Campbell's like, "Dude, where's my ball, man? I told you it was my first touchdown." And he was like, "It's mine too." So anyway, but
that is great.
We'll try to tease the roundtable tomorrow. Ron Johnson make his championship game picks. Reggie Wilson and Julia Daniels join as well. Ron, electric as usual on your Thursday appearance. Check out the Ron Johnson Show every Tuesday. Spice Adams on the last episode. Good stuff, Ron. Thanks.
Appreciate you. And shout out to Harold Goodwin with the Bucks. Hopefully he gets a chance to be the coordinator for the Buccaneers because he was my coach with the Bears. So hopefully Goody gets a shot.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get him on the Ron Johnson Show.
Hey, I trust me. I text him. I was like, hey, let's because we got Larry Foote possibly coming, but yeah, Cato June. So yeah, I already texted him when I saw that. I was like, oh, maybe he'll be the coordinator finally.
Mo Lindquist with the come up
with Alabama. I know. Yep. Like all these coaches, that's how I know I'm old. When guys I know play with or played for are all becoming like top execs now. Like Antoine Randall might be a coordinator if he follows Ben Johnson. Like that's what's crazy.
Whew. Wow.
At 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter/X. Excellent content.
Appreciate it.
See you, Ron. See you. Bo Nix talk next on the Minnesota Football Party. Brought to you today by FanDuel. There are 3 NFL games left this season. You can still get in the action at America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose with just a $5 bet. And the app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet. You can use the Parlay Hub, build out a same-game parlay. There are special bets for these championship game rounds. I'll let you know what those are, and our championship bets coming up later. And you can also bet the futures. You can also bet NBA, NHL, college basketball. FanDuel.com/lockedon, FanDuel.com/lockedon, or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Make your first bet a layup at FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. All right, we continue on with our QB targets in the draft. We've talked about Caleb, talked about Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Michael Penix. Today, it's Bo Nix out of Oregon, and he's just part of this archetype, guys. 3 years with a different school, transfers, 2 years with another school, and turns into a hot prospect, turning 24 in a month. But Bo Nix from Oregon, 37 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year for the Ducks, 6'2", 217. Luke Inman, the draft resident aficionado, give it to us on Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix, first thing you notice, the athletic ability, creates with his legs. If the play breaks down, he's ready to improvise, keeps his eyes downfield. He's ready to sling it. If it's not there, he's going to take what you give him with his feet, try to move the chains. The arm strength, it's good. It's probably not elite. The accuracy is fine. There's enough there to work with, I think, but solid arm. B plus at the improv stuff, I think, creating outside of structure, which is nice. The downsides, you mentioned it. 24 years old next month. I think his birthday is like February 25th. So 24 next month already. The other thing that you really don't love, for being a 5-year guy with all that experience, he's still not great at reading the field, going through his progressions and the footwork and mechanics. It's just not great for a 5-year guy. So when he gets pressure in his face and commits to staying in the pocket, you see a lot of these back foot throws from, and also that Oregon offense really didn't do him a lot of favors either as far as being prepped and ready for the NFL. Kind of reminds you of Hendon Hooker a little bit. It's a lot of quick screens, RPOs, ISO, vert routes, etc. So unless the plan, I think, is to mold your offense and change it like the Eagles did with like a Jalen Hurts with the RPOs and whatnot, I think it's going to take them at least a year to digest everything. And I would guess he'd be a redshirt candidate. And now he's already 25 when he gets his first real chance as a starter. So I think you got to ask yourself with the Vikings specifically, when we look at all these quarterbacks now, I think this is the third or fourth one we've done, how much is KOC willing to adapt the offense to the next guy that shows up versus finding a guy that maybe already fits what he wants to do, has the traits that kind of match up to what KOC values the most in a quarterback? Because I think with Nix, it can work, but I immediately think of like an Eagles offense or like a Shane Steichen deal in Indy. And so that's my question with him, I guess. It's still early. Combine and pro days always shuffle things up. Very curious to see, again, what kind of athlete he is on paper at the combine. But as of now, with the guys in this class, he feels like a second round type of guy, similar to where Jalen Hurts kind of went.
I haven't seen anything of Bo Nix. I think I watched one Oregon game this year and I wasn't really paying attention. So I have to lean on you guys for this. But like my question would have been like, because he's an older prospect, what's the problem? Because you just have that much less of a likelihood that problem gets solved. If he didn't fix it by his fifth year of college, well, what are the odds that you fix it in the pros? But the thing about O'Connell is interesting, because I do think, we saw him adapt the offense, or at least try to adapt the offense with Dobbs versus Jaron Hall versus Mullins. Like things changed throughout. Some of them worked and some of them absolutely did not, but there was at least a willingness, right? But I wonder, like, at the same time, that means that when you're picking a quarterback, you're picking an offense too. If you're picking like Michael Penix, you're picking a lot of deep, go balls and stuff. And if you're picking somebody like Bo Nix, what is that offense? Like what is the thing that you have to do to sort of cover up his deficiencies and highlight his strengths?
I think Luke makes a pretty good point. Inman, obviously not wrong. That naturally, right? That actually, I hadn't even thought about it like this, but this is really good. The Jalen Hurts comparisons in terms of how you would have to tailor that offense, because it is a lot of quick decision making. The issue with the Eagles offense this year, and honestly last year, that not a ton of people talked about. Shout out to JT O'Sullivan, who identified it in like week 2 of last year. That the just incredible stuff on his YouTube channel. That the Philadelphia Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts does not have hot routes against the blitz. It just doesn't. And so the answer to the blitz is Jalen Hurts does some magic stuff, right? And it turns out that there's like, you exhaust that pretty quickly. And part of that, I think, is because of Hurts's progression as a quarterback, like the things that you can ask him to do, the things that you can't ask him to do. And, to Luke's point, they also did have to sit Jalen Hurts for a little bit before they could put him out into the field, right? So he was an older quarterback prospect. He transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma. And like Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix wasn't good until he was older than the people he was playing against, which to me is a little bit alarming, right? Because like the thing with older prospects is, like Braun said, hey, there's like a thing that you need to fix. Is that thing, is it explainable why it wasn't fixed until now? And is it relatively easy to fix in the NFL? Or The second thing is, if he's always been good, right? If he was good as a 19-year-old against 20-year-olds, if he was good against as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, is that does that give us some credence to say, hey, the reason he's playing well is not just because he's older than everyone, right? And that's not been the case for Nix, right? So that is another concern. Again, Jalen Hurts, that's kind of a comp. I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts was bad at Alabama, but I was genuinely thinking, hey, he might be a better running back, right? That's until he went to Oklahoma, right? So I think that's all fair. The instances where you have Bo Nix process a play, right, where it's closer to a standard NFL drop back, it's not there for me. Anytime there's a complex decision to be made or a defense to read, he's just not processing very quickly, and he immediately goes into creation mode. Hey, my first thing isn't here. I'm going to start scrambling, whether or not there's pressure. I think that his response to pressure, I don't know. I've toned this down a little bit. I used to just hate quarterbacks that leaned away from pressure all the time, because to me, that's just whether or not the numbers are good, to me that betrays I just can't handle pressure, right? And that's been historically less true as time has gone on, as I've observed quarterbacks, but it still bothers me a lot, and that's something that he does. So I don't love it just because I don't think he necessarily has the quick processing. I don't think that the offense is there. I think that even though he's got a pretty good arm and decent accuracy, the accuracy component is not asking him to fit it over a linebacker under
right. No layers to it. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're not feathering these balls in that require a complex decision-making process. He's not holding a guy with his eyes and then throwing away from the guy. It's just, there's not a lot there for me to be okay, I get he's an older prospect, but there's some stuff I really like. At least Michael Penix, I think that there's stuff that you like as a processor that's there for you to be okay, he's older, but he's clearly progressed a little bit in some areas. I don't know that that's necessarily true for Bo Nix.
And with the Jalen Hurts thing too, it's okay, one of the things that made him so enticing was he was the number 1 ranked quarterback from the athleticism score at the combine. So that's an A+. Bo Nix, it's not as elite.
It's probably,
how do you quantify or how do you make that decision in your head? That's okay, it's still a B+, that's great, but is that enough to again, kind of mask some of the issues that Arif just pointed out again, as far as just being a pure pocket thrower and passer, going through his reads and progressions? I don't think so. So that's why I look at that tier, and we'll see the medicals on Penix, and, I'm sure the JJ McCarthy hype will slowly start to build as we get closer to April. But I think Bo Nix is a definitely day 2 type of guy for sure. And again, probably a red shirt
class at quarterback this year, man.
Really,
it's
old.
crazy. It's crazy.
Bo Nix led college football in passer rating under pressure at 145.4. Here's the catch. He was never pressured. And that's probably a function of the throws and the offense.
Super fast.
At the lowest
screens,
pressure rate.
RPOs,
And not even close. Lowest pressure rate by a long shot, less than 15% pressured. He's going to be pressured double that or more in the NFL.
I think his ADOT decreased drastically going from Auburn's offense to Oregon's offense too. So as far as the deep shots and scanning the field, staying in the pocket,
entirely different offense, entirely the offense is going to be the engine more than the quarterback type stuff. Obviously, any offense is going to need some talent at quarterback, but this one was less, hey, we've got a quarterback with tools, we're going to use those tools, and more, we've got an offense that's got a bunch of parts working together, and the scheme is going to kind of carry us. That's what it was.
Yeah. Somebody threw out the Baker Mayfield comp, and it's definitely not apples to apples by any means, but you can see similar parts and shades to his game as well as Baker.
I get it. I think Baker was a more I'm saying this as a processor, a more mature processor.
100%. Absolutely.
Mature, not usually used to describe Baker Mayfield. Right. But I think in this context, it works.
But that's all for today on the Minnesota Football Party. Catch us on Monday. Catch us on Thursday. We go twice a week here on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Hear us on Locked On Vikings podcast feed. Thanks to the Lukes. For Arif, Ron Johnson, I'm Sam Ekstrom. Talk to you next time.